Hey, welcome
Alright,
to
hi.
the After School Writers podcast where we talk about writing sometimes and mostly Yuri stuff. I'm
And food
Dias.
ASMR apparently.
I'm Fallen.
I'm lit.
And I'm Soup Man.
So, we have currently in Idle Fanfic Help, which is the writing server that I own, we have an event going on. The New Beginnings event. Well, I know Lid's participated in it. She's literally written every day. How's that going?
It's a struggle, but it's all for Eureka, so it's worth it.
Fallen,
Yeah,
how
I
do you...
suppose that's like the thing we usually start off with is like how what are we all doing basically, and that's basically what we're doing is just writing for an event, right?
Yeah,
Fallen, you're not
Supreme, you're
writing.
also writing for it.
Yeah, you sent me all the prompts and DMs, and I'm kind of just writing for my own satisfaction, but it's still nice to at least write something.
Why did you feel like you had to mention that?
I don't know. I just figured like it's weird because I'm not there anymore, you know?
Yeah, but like I don't know. Maybe you're just like stealing from Lid. Why is it got you got to steal from me, man?
Yeah, I
I
see
I
you in
didn't
listen.
know
my
you cared about
comments.
me so much.
Listen, I specifically had to call you out.
Fallen. You haven't written for this one, but you've written in events before, right?
Yeah,
How do you find them normally? These Discord events that we do.
I guess it's kind of okay, but it just depends on whether I could write the prompts or not. So if I
Hmm.
look at the prompts and I think that I can write, then I would write.
Yeah. So for people who aren't in our server, the way these events sort of work is, well, it changes from event to event, but normally it's like there's some sort of prompt as to what people need to write. So, for example, it'll be like rare pairs, right? It'll be like, you know, write the best girl of the person above you, stuff like that sort of thing.
That event was awesome.
Yeah, and so the goal of it, how we initially like, or I initially did it, was like I just wanted people to write stuff, and I wanted people to write small things because they were easy to read, and the more people read, the more people write. I feel like. So all of these events are basically really oriented around ficlets, which are like these shorter stories, usually like say like 400, 500 words. Is that about right?
Mm, Kinda. The current one is 40 or 400, ugh,
4,000
4,000
characters.
characters. Yeah. And that's about like 1,000-ish words, give or take.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So like the ones I write are a little shorter than yours.
Unless you hear me and you cheat. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just
Um,
like it's really nice to get short stories because short
I,
stories
I know
easy to read,
specifically
easy to write.
Fallen has said before he doesn't like, and I feel like this is a problem with maybe not everybody, but some people they don't really like writing short form writing. Like they feel like they do better writing long form, more eloquent stories. So I wonder if like I know we haven't really done an event like that, but I wonder if that might be something we think
A
of later
longer
on.
story event. Yo,
Yeah.
it's in the works.
Ooh.
I'm talking to Crystal about it. We got some ideas.
Oh yeah, she did mention that, didn't she?
I feel like
Yeah,
longer
no.
fix would be hard though, because like
Dude,
personally,
a
if it's
hundred
not
percent.
something I like, I don't read all of it.
Yeah, yeah. So like, do I want to talk about the other fandom? Do y'all know the story I'm gonna talk?
Talk about Bandori.
No, no,
Fandory.
no, no, no.
Get
Uh,
Starting out the timer.
the My Next Life as a Villainess story.
oh,
Oh yes, you mentioned this before. Yeah.
So there was another. My Next Life as a Villainess is another sort of not Yuri. It's like a harem anime, but it's really smart, and so I like it a lot more than most harem animes. It has a server, and I joined it, and I found out that there was a lot of fanfic writers. So me and like another guy were like, hey, let's make a fanfic channel. We put it out to the mods, and I'm not gonna call him out by name, but there was just like one mod basically who like does everything in that server, right? So
hmm.
like he was kind of skeptical about it. He was like, okay, if this gets like 10 reactions, then we'll make it. And so we got the reactions and we made it. But that server got full really fast, right? So we were like, hey, can we have like a channel for like published stories and a channel for like this and that? He was like, you guys have a channel, just shut up and use it, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was kind of weird, and that was kind of like an indication of like what would happen later. So later on, Haru put on. I shouldn't put it on Haru. There's more than one mod than Haru, but Haru was the one who like posted stuff about it, right? So they made an event, right? The way this event worked was you had a month and you had to write a story with at least 2 chapters, and it had to be relating to the anime. My Next Life as a Villainess. All routes lead to Doom, right? This event tanked pretty hard. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I think primarily it's just like really hard to do big stories, right? Like stories that are worth having 2 chapters.
Yeah.
The time was like a day from like ending, and there was one person who had entered a fic in the event. And so like I had rushed out and I had put out a fic that I wasn't especially happy with. It's called Katarina the Introvert, I think. And I had like 2 chapters on that, right? And so I put one in just to like encourage activity. And the dude was like real salty. He's like, "Oh, you guys are always asking for stuff, but you don't even write for the event." And I'm like, dude, like, of course the event was gonna fail, right? Like, writing 2 chapter stories is hard. We all do like one
Yeah,
shots.
I remember you mentioning
Yeah.
this before, actually. And that's kind of what I meant when I was saying, like, I know Fallen specifically doesn't really like writing short form stuff, but I feel like that's pretty much in the minority. For the most part, a lot of people will
I
prefer
think if
the
you like
shorter.
are really
It's
really
easier.
serious about writing, then you can like go really hard for it. But it's just like,
Yeah,
you do a lot. You end up having to do a lot of planning and a lot of like work for that kind of
yeah, a
story.
ton of pre-planning goes into like anything longer than like 2 chapters, I find.
Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, when
I would
we
like to
do
break
our
this tangent. Hang on, Dias. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'd like
okay.
to break this tangent and just let you know that you have broken your current record for longest spiel at
Did you
2
record
minutes
it?
19 seconds.
Oh
I
my
did
god.
time you.
Nice, nice.
Congratulations.
Your previous record was 1 minute 45, and you have currently
Wait,
eclipsed your record.
when
So
did you record a
congratulations.
minute 45?
That was 2 episodes ago.
Oh shit,
Wow.
this is like an actual timer.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you before we started recording, but I actually did save your audio one time, and it
We
was a minute
so
45.
so before the podcast, we were talking about how this idea of like giving me a timer to see how long I talk compared to how long Fallen talks.
I'll be honest,
And
I
I
didn't
guess-
think you'd break it this early, but
I guess it
you
was
proved
really
me wrong.
quick. Did you just scan that episode or?
Yeah, there's been a few. The one before that one was, oddly enough, the Christmas episode that I was talking about earlier. That
Oh.
you had 1 minute 30 something in that one.
What do you know? Anyways, so yeah, this event bombed, and I think primarily because like it's just a server full of people who like don't write long stuff, right? And it's
Mhm.
like hard to come up with long stuff, at least within a month, right?
If only they had writers like Lid, am I right?
I mean,
Dude,
like,
I could go ham on that shit. You have no idea.
yeah, so like the event I'm gonna do is probably also gonna be like a month. It's either a month or a month and a half. We're not sure yet.
How many chapters?
And there's gonna be like an actual prize for that one. So
How many chapters?
How many chapters?
it'll be, I think it's 3,000 words is the minimum.
I do that by sleep. I'm in.
Yeah, same.
3,000
Literally.
words or 2+ chapters is what I have it currently. Or
Guys,
and
I've been writing 3,000 words for your 4,000 character event, dude. I'm already in.
all right, cool. We'll see if it wins. I'm gonna tell you if you can all like join it. I'd be really happy because we have like right now a lot of people are in the planning part of it, which is a little.
Well,
awkward.
and if this event is any indication, it seems like there's like people still are willing to write for Love Live specifically, which is nice.
Yeah, right? Like, okay, this is like another tangent within a tangent, right? But like, I swear to God, like the Love Live tag is like not at all representative of the community. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is like fucking no one reads the AO3 section on Love Live, but it feels like there's still like tons and tons of people in the community like talking about Love Live. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what that deal is. Maybe like we just got the short end of the stick with like writers. Maybe it's just like the community is smaller than I'm like thinking it is.
Or maybe alternatively, it could be like people writing and not necessarily posting. Like
Or
I
I
mean
know
that'd
there's
be a
a,
little
or
weird.
writing,
or
but with somebody doesn't want to read. Like,
ah.
not gonna
Oh,
lie,
You
I've
know,
been posting these fics and I have like 300 hits already.
yeah, Lid, you mentioned
You have
that earlier
300
actually.
hits on your ficlets?
Yeah, those ones I've been posting every day, 300 hits.
Yeah,
Yo,
I'm
I
already at
gotta start posting
186
my
dias.
ficlets. I'm losing
Join
out.
the Yoriko tag, dude.
hmm Yoriko gets hits like nobody's business. It's actually kind of crazy.
Join me.
Cool.
Everybody join me.
But no, Lid, you were saying this earlier, and I feel like this is kind of a bit of a microcosm of the problem with like AO3 not getting a ton of hits in the Love Live tag. It's because there is so many ships, and I feel like because Plazor mentioned this too to me not too long ago. He doesn't like if he doesn't like a ship, he just won't read the fan fiction, right?
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
very like sectioned off. So like for example, if I post a Mari Hanamaru fic and it
Yeah.
gets like 130 like or 130 hits or whatever, 9 kudos, I'm usually okay with that because I know it's a super rare pair and nobody really it's not like a huge deal.
130 seems like a lot.
It might be a lot, but I see that compared to like when I write Yoriko and it gets like 330 kudos and I'm like, "Ah, that's a popular ship right there." So it might not necessarily always be people aren't reading. It might just be
Mm.
they're not reading your thing specifically because they're not a huge fan of the ship or something.
Yeah, you gotta imagine, especially with like the generation, like in the server, there's like a very clear like Niji group right now,
Oh,
right?
totally.
Oh yeah.
And then like me and Supreme and Plazor, we used to be the young kids. We were all about the Aquars when we first came. And
Mhm.
as like the server went on, everyone who joined was like Aquars or Muse. Now
And now it's
everyone's
kind of
Niji.
transitioned slowly. Yeah, and I feel like Superstar is only going to make that like even further.
Yeah. You know what we need though? I do feel like we need some sort of like combined tag on AO3. Like I don't know if you've seen like Fire Emblem Fix too much, but there's a Fire Emblem like general where like you can have all the Fire Emblem stories, and then there's like the individual categories for them.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like there's each game individually, but then there's one overarching Fire
Yeah.
Emblem tag.
I feel like
Is
something
there?
Love
like that
Live.
would be useful.
I think there is one for Love Live, but it's
Is it-
the games. Like there's the School Idol Festival game, and then there's
Oh,
All Stars
that
the
doesn't
game.
count, does it?
Yeah, I would
Does
never
it?
tag mine as game.
Oh shit, might be.
I
I've
tag
just
mine
been
as
throwing
game
every
when
tag
I'm
on
just
there.
like, this is low on tags. Let me just type up something.
Nice.
Actually,
But
so
yeah.
like, if you don't mind me moving on to like stuff I've been doing lately, one
Oh, go for it, dude.
I put out a Setsu Karen fic yesterday, or is it today? It might be today.
That's today still.
So like as of writing this, it is Setsuna's birthday, August 8th in Japan time, right? And when I wrote that story, I had no tags on it. It was just like happy birthday Setsuna. And so I was like, wait a minute, what do I tag this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what I tagged it. Fluff, established relationship, gift giving. Yeah, that seems about right.
Cute.
Sounds cute.
Yeah, give it a read.
I will give it a read. I meant to do it eventually, but now I'm recording a podcast. You guys pressured me into podcast recording. I
It's
didn't even get
required
time to
homework.
settle.
If you don't read it by the end of the podcast, there's be a quiz.
Hang on, I'm opening it right now.
Oh, I already read it.
The quiz.
Let me just click the kudos already.
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback.
No problem.
Yeah, no. Me and Lid have basically just been writing for this event solely. I know, I can't speak for Lid specifically, but it kind of like revamped my want to write a little bit. I wasn't really taking a break, but I feel like I'm right back into it now that I've started writing for this event. So
I'll say
it's
for
nice.
sure, like writing can be like a real weird hobby because it's not like you're like a lot of the effort is like, how do you say? It's like back end stuff. It's like planning, right? Or
Mhm.
like thinking about ideas and like writing. Uh, that's not like entirely true. Like you can like talk to people about your ideas and stuff, but for the most part, writers tend to like keep their ideas to themselves, right?
Yeah.
Sorta, yeah. At least until you actually write them anyway. Like I feel like
Yeah.
Fallen.
I sit down and I'll just like I'll have an idea and if I'll just sit down and write it and if I get like 500 characters in and it's a good idea, I'll keep going.
Hmm.
And if not, then I'll just scrap it and kind of rethink something else.
Yeah, yeah, I respect that. Fallen, what have you been up to lately?
Uh, just been continue writing my fanfic as usual. It's on AO3. I don't know if anyone of you saw it, but it's a soldier game.
Yeah, I've slowly been keeping up with it. I think I'm on like chapter 6 or 7 right now, I want to say. I've been finding in my free time to keep up with it eventually. I like it so far.
Hey, thanks.
When you
But like,
guys,
it blows my mind how much you've written for it. Like, wow.
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. Like I wouldn't have like, I can't have that much dedication to one story idea, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't
I know
know.
I know specifically like you plan so much for that too. Like it's actually crazy.
Yeah, so the thing is, I planned this since last October when I just finished writing my first one,
Hmm.
and yeah, and then it got
Yeah,
delayed a
yeah,
lot of times. So that's kind of it. Though I've just been writing that. That's it.
yeah. I
Hmm.
just write Hanamaru goes to KFC, and that's as far as I go.
That fig was wild, dude.
Hell yeah. And you post it, get those ficlet views.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
telling you,
Dude,
that's how
okay.
you build it up.
How do you guys feel about ficlets though? Uh, from a reading side,
Like a bunch of ships put together in one ficlet, or
like when you see ficlet collections on AO3, right? Whether they be like, ones that have like a bunch of relationships or ones that have like one relationship, or sometimes they have like freaking 10 fandoms in them.
I hate those. I hate those so bad. If you have a
Yeah, they're real
ficlet,
annoying.
only have one ship.
Yeah,
That's what.
or alternatively, what I hate it when they tag like it's like tag soup, and you can't tell what's in the fan fiction because there's like 70,000 different tags.
Yeah.
Like if
Some
you're
Like,
gonna at least if you're gonna do that, at least just say like this is a fan fiction collection, and then don't tag it, and instead just put what each chapter is and like what the story's about in the summary or
Well, I mean,
whatever.
but you kind of need to tag it, otherwise it doesn't get any visibility, does it?
if you put the
Yeah,
ship,
Yeah,
that's
that's
that's what I
enough.
was about to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, there are people who will like. Well, maybe it's just my experience, but like for horny stuff, right? Like I look for tags over ships a lot of the time.
Interesting.
Okay, I guess if it's not safe for work, it should be tagged that. But if it's just like a random collection, I feel like it's good as no tags.
It
Uh-huh.
the other thing that I kind of note is that like oftentimes these are not tagged as ficlets. So there's like ficlets, ficlet collection, that kind of stuff. So if you try to like exclude them, like they just like don't show up, or they still show up rather.
I think
I
I
guess
know what
it.
you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I do know what you mean. Yeah, if you try to exclude the tag Ficlet collection, they're
Yeah,
not tagged as such, so you'll still get them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's real
okay.
annoying.
Yeah, that is kind of a pain in the ass. Like it's a Ficlet collection, but they didn't tag it as such, so it's just a bunch
Yeah,
of stuff
and
all
so
thrown
you
together.
have to like if you're ever like sorting by like most kudos or something, you got like first three of them are freaking ficlet collections. You gotta just like
Yep,
scroll down.
Always. And it's like the first
always.
three with a lot of kudos is like 20 different fandoms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Like there's hold on, I gotta look for it now. There's one franchise that I like read. I think it's New Game, where like the first thing is like always. Yeah, it's like Love on the menu. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not even gonna fucking count this shit. There's like way too many fandoms on this one. So every time I like click on this tag, like, there it is.
Yeah, that's
It's
pain.
it's really annoying because like things like Isekai Shokudo, they have like 16 works, right? And one of them is like not even a real work. And like actually half of these aren't even like I'm scrolling through. It's like this one has Danny Phantom, Overwatch, Ruby, Bleach. Like
Oh, that makes me
I hate
cringe.
it.
I hate it.
if I'm like, I'm looking through a freaking story. I'm looking for a freaking story. I don't want to see this shit, right?
Yeah, you're looking for your interests, right? Like you don't want to see it mixed
It's
in
like
with a bunch
really
of stuff.
inconvenient.
Yeah, I agree. But overall, though, to answer your question from earlier, I think like I personally like reading them because I feel like it's less of a commitment. But that being said,
I don't
I
like this part.
feel
We're not
like
complaining.
we're not getting mad at tags.
Yeah, we need to be
No,
complaining more.
Listen. I was about to complain. I feel like, however, though, it's
Let's
harder
go.
to get like because you always hear sometimes people talk about like, oh yeah, my favorite fan fiction is this one and this one and this one.
Mhm.
I feel like it's hard for them to be memorable as much if they're like less than a couple thousand words. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless
for
they're
sure.
super super good.
I think for a lot of these stories, it's not necessarily that they're like bad ideas or that they're like, forgettable, but like there's a certain like time spent equals investment priority, isn't there?
Hmm.
Which is why like a lot of like really good drama shows and things will like drag out an event for like 10 fucking episodes
Yep.
and have like a bunch of like side plots, and it's just because like I mean part of it is that like you don't want to like use your material too quickly, right? And then like the other part of it is like you need to have like some, I don't know what you would call it, levity. Like you need to have some humor moments mixed in. You need to have some, just so it doesn't feel all the same.
Yeah, stuff like Game of Thrones and stuff like that shows a great example of that where and they build up so well to the drama climaxes that it makes it feel like your time invested was worth it.
Mm. Have you guys
But
ever
that being
watched?
said, you write a little short story and you read it in 5 minutes and you're like, that was cute. Leave a kudos.
Yeah, and then
There's
you
something to be
disappear.
said for that as well.
Have you guys ever watched the Three Gatsu no Lion?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. Well, that's now your homework. Now you have to watch that instead.
Okay.
I just
Read
wanted to bring
Dice
it up
Fig.
because that's a really like that's a show that explores really serious topics like depression, and it doesn't feel bad to watch. Like I think and this is kind of like a completely different question. I think some shows can be like a little bogged down by like the theme and they can get a little preachy. This show was like good at being funny without being while still like being like a serious show and exploring its themes and stuff.
Okay.
Three Gatsu
I
no
will put it
Lion.
on my 17,000 long anime to watch list.
Got it.
So I guess that brings us to
Lid, you want to introduce this one?
a sweet transition, but yes, Lid,
Oh,
you should introduce.
Okay. The ultimate question for every fanfiction writer out there. This is a make or break. Friends to lovers or enemies to lovers? I need to know.
Bump, bump, bump. We have entered the questions section of our podcast now.
I have a question before I answer this.
Go for it.
You can't answer a question with a question.
I just
mean, I guess you
realized I
can.
don't
Go
know
for it.
enough about the show to like make this statement. I
What
was gonna
show?
ask like how does Miraculous Ladybug compare?
Oh.
But I think they're all good guys in that show, right? All four of the quote unquote love interests.
Yeah, I would say they're all like friends.
Yeah. Okay. Never
I mean-
mind. I disregard me. I don't know much about Miraculous Ladybug except it's got a funny premise.
Dude, that show. Something else. I watched a couple episodes. Interested, but it's so bad. Not
My
the point. Friends and lovers, enemies and
My
lovers.
my younger sister was super into it. But yeah, okay. That's also how I got into My Little Pony.
My Little Pony doesn't count either. They're also all friends. That's like
I
the point
wasn't
of the
saying
show.
that as. Never mind. Never
And
mind.
chip is magic.
Friendship
Also, if
is
you're getting into
dead.
My Little Pony shipping, this is an entirely different podcast. All
Oh
of a
yeah,
sudden.
dude. We need a My Little Pony episode for sure. That'll be next time.
We
Oh,
should.
Okay, so-
Have we all watched it? I think we all
I've
watched
watched like half of it.
If you haven't watched it, you can probably talk about it anyways.
Probably. I feel like I know enough, honestly. Dias, you go first.
Friends
'Cause
to
I feel
lovers.
like you're gonna have the most to say.
No, I'll let everyone go through theirs, and then we can get into it. I think.
it. Fallen, friends and lovers, enemies and lovers, go.
Friends to lovers. Yes, that fits in with me more.
Yes,
Kind of.
sir.
Good man, good man. Soup.
I think I speak for everyone when I say friends to lovers is the ultimate choice in this matter.
Truly, you
Okay.
cannot get better.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all friends to lovers type. However, within the realm of fan fiction, which do you think is more popular?
Enemies and lovers, unfortunately.
Enemies
Yes,
to lovers
tragically.
feels a lot more popular, right? And like,
Mhm.
so Lid, I mentioned to you Malfoy and Harry, and you seem to have a strong negative reaction to that. Was that for the ship, or was that for Harry Potter, or what's going on there?
That's just like Harry Potter in general. I just
Okay, we're not Harry Potter fans. I see.
no. That's like the same vibe with Twilight. Like if I ever watch it, it's very ironically.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like when I was 13, and I kind of just don't want to think about that. So
Aw, I really
That
like Harry
sounds-
Potter still. I'll acknowledge that, like, after all of it's been put together, people have, like, combed it to death and found, like, all sorts of problems with it. But I still have, like, fond memories of that book, and I have no problem still getting into that. If we want to get away from that, though, what do you think would be a good enemies to lovers ship that's not, like, Star Wars?
You know, there's this one show I watched, and it's called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. It's a kid show, but I think they did pretty good. They were originally friends, and then they turned to enemies against each other. It's just this
Hmm.
whole thing. And then, like, as they were fighting throughout the entire series, like, they just kind of would always have flashbacks from each other from when they were friends. But obviously,
Hmm.
you know, you can't think that because they're enemies right now. But then, like, this whole thing happened, like, the girl who was on the bad side, she got, like, turned against. And so she went
So
back
it's
to
kind of
being
like,
friends.
was she like a full on like bad guy, or was
Yeah,
it like
like-
a sympathetic villain sort of situation?
No, she was, like, a bad guy. Like, she was, like, half cat, so she, like, scratched the main character. And she was just, like, very aggressive. So it went
Hmm.
from, like, friends to enemies to friends to lovers. Like, I accepted that one. But not straight up enemies to lovers. That doesn't
this
work.
is acceptable.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's the best of both worlds right there. That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah, both. Great.
I'm trying to think of like media that I've watched where there's an.
So I'm
enemies to
browsing
lovers
the
thing.
AO3 tags to like try and think of a pairing. Celebrities and real people, actors RPF, sports RPF, music RPF. Is this really? Hold on, where the fuck did all this shit come from? Yo,
Interesting.
why?
So it's all RPF, is what you're telling me?
No, like I'm not saying anything about enemies to lovers right now. I'm just like surprised at the depth of the freaking RPF hole. What is
Well, we can definitely transition into
Sweeney Todd? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's next topic.
that. Yeah, no,
To-
no, no.
to
we,
go
we
back
can
to-
definitely, back to lovers to friend, like friends to lovers. I think is like, it's definitely criminally underrepresented. But now that I'm thinking about it, I can't really think of any enemies to lovers like examples.
How would you classify?
So maybe we're in a better spot than I thought we were.
How would you classify? So have you all watched My Hero Academia?
Nope.
Yes, I have.
How would you classify Deku and Bakugo's relationship?
First of all, I hate you.
It
I hate you so much.
is the one of the most popular ships.
In anime right now, honestly.
Yeah.
I would say I don't really think of them as enemies though. Like,
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. It's like they're like kinda enemies, but
I almost feel like there needs to be like a third category for like rivals to lovers, almost. You know what I mean?
I feel like Bakugo is kind of his own category, honestly.
Yeah, kinda. Like he's just kind of like a
What
dickhead
is
by
he like
nature.
an anti-hero, anti-villain? What is he?
Yeah, he'd be an anti-hero for sure.
What even is an
For sure.
anti-hero?
Listen, I think that ship just exists because they're the two main characters and they were childhood friends, and everybody's like, yes, I'm going to make them kiss in my fan fictions now.
I mean, dude, that's how all of fanfiction is. It's like Sonic and
Exactly.
Shadow. You got fucking Naruto and Sasuke. Now you got fucking
Yep. Is there
Raylo.
two main boy characters? They will be shipped together.
Yeah,
Yep.
Should be a rule of
always.
the internet at this point.
yeah. It's Rule 69.
Yep.
There we go. Also, I was thinking about it right now, and I think a reason why Enemies to Lovers is really popular is the fact that you can get more out of the story from it.
Yeah. Okay. So we haven't
Mm.
done a great job of talking about it. So like, certainly there's a lot of positives. I think to enemies to lovers, and I think a big part of it is that like, it can feel like very legitimate growth. Because I think everyone would agree that some of the best villains are ones that aren't really like villains, if that makes sense. Like they're not like cackling maniacs who just like have a vengeance or a bloodlust or something.
Yeah, you're talking like a Prince Zuko from Avatar type.
Oh yeah, we watched that video together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that type of like he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad
He's
guy.
a bad guy, but not bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. You're Wreck-It Ralphing me right now. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like depth to it, and I feel like those make for more compelling stories, and that's probably why people like enemies to lovers
I think,
more. Is because there's more drama there.
I think in Zuko's case, and this is kind of the case for Malfoy as well from Harry Potter, what people really like about him is the redemption, right? I think
Yeah.
like if he just stayed in the show as like a bad boy with issues, like he would probably still be popular. But I think what made him like shoot through the roof, like what makes him so iconic is the redemption arc, right?
Hmm. And I feel like Sasuke in like Naruto had that to a degree, like way later on in the show though.
Ooh.
But he kind of also had that at the
Ooh,
same.
ooh,
to
can
the
I
same
talk about
degree.
them?
Go for it. Spoiler warning for
I-
Naruto, I guess.
I really like the initial stages of Sasuke. The whole obsessed with the revenge idea and how it like consumes him, and like how that plays into Gaara and how he's obsessed with like rejecting love, like to the point where he like carves love above his eye in blood, right?
Dias is just an edgy teenager. At
Yeah,
heart.
and so like yeah, I really dig that like both of these characters thought they were living for one thing. Like they were so overly focused on one thing. And like the way they change over the course of the story is like they start to see sort of more facets of the world, more facets of the people they hate, right? And they
Yeah.
start to sort of like connect with that and be like, "Oh shit," you know? I
well,
feel like
and
that
actually,
sort of
that's a pretty good example
growth.
of enemies to lovers too.
Yeah.
Is Sasuke and Sakura, right? Because they get married at the end of that show.
I don't know
Do
if I
they
would
not?
They do, but I don't know if I would count that.
No, I have to admit I haven't watched the entirety of that show. I'm about halfway through Shippuden.
Okay, so
So
I'll try and run down it. So basically, like later in the show, Sakura kind of like gives up on Sasuke and like tries to kill him, and then he almost kills her, and she has to get saved by Naruto. And it's this like big
Okay.
moment that like made everyone really hate Sakura. From that point on, like Sasuke really like doesn't interact with Sakura, and so it becomes like a real jarring moment when they get like married at the end, because that's like
and that's saying a
legit
lot too. 'Cause
400
people really
episodes.
fucking didn't like Sakura for most of the show.
Yeah, no, like Sakura really doesn't do much from that point on. Like people say that she was useless throughout the entire show. I would
She had
argue that
moments.
like before that moment she was still like a fairly like important character.
Yeah, there were moments, like especially during like the war section, like there were moments where she was kind of doing stuff and kind of important to the story. But
Yeah, yeah.
I would agree. She's not.
But yeah,
great.
I wouldn't call them like enemies to lovers really.
Mm.
I would put Dara more in that camp where he was
Yeah.
like much more adversarial.
But to what you were saying though, yeah, like I feel like it's kind of like almost a discussion of like, do you like more drama based stuff, or do you
Hmm.
like more like would you read fluff fan fiction just all the time every
Hmm.
day?
I mean, every
It,
relationship has to have like a little bit of angst in it, right? Otherwise, it's not fun to read about.
yeah, true. There's got to be
Yeah,
conflict in
true.
your story, right?
But
Yep.
But yeah,
but yeah, like definitely there should like there's a lot more drama in an enemies to lovers relationship, isn't there? Especially if it's
yeah,
like, one of them is very like directly like I hate you. You're the worst thing that's happened to me, right?
Hmm.
Then like I don't know. I don't really understand. I haven't really read enough to like make this argument, but I feel like the appeal of it is like taking this like deep hatred and like turning it around, right?
I just like
Like that's
fluff
a
too much, dude.
powerful
Yeah, fluff is
emotion.
just the way.
It really is.
Well,
I
all
think
right.
I get
How
it.
about
I really
this?
get it.
How about
I
this?
hold on. I try to go. I really get like the whole like kind of like working out the like kinks in their relationship to get it going again. But I feel like when they're straight up like, "I hate you. I wish you would die," it's like, okay, maybe I don't want this ship to
Oh,
ever
but
happen.
what if he's like,
Yeah.
I hate you. I wish you could die, and then like off camera he goes, I wonder what that guy's up to. I wonder where is he?
No, no.
Nah.
I would not believe it. That's so fake. I
Dude,
don't want
that's
that to
how
be the
like Lid, you're on webtoons, right?
Occasionally I jump in there.
That's how like the webtoons do it. All the characters are like tsunderes of some sort.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
That sounds like hell, dude. Oh my
I'll
god.
link you one. We'll see. We'll see how much you enjoy it.
I'm glad you
God.
said that, Lid, because that's actually a great point. I feel like a lot of times it's not that it's not satisfying, but it's so like you don't see them together because they've been fighting the whole show, and then there's always like that one moment where it all turns around, and if it's convincing, it's convincing, but I feel like most of the time it's just not convincing to me, and I'm
Hmm.
like, man, I wish they just liked each other this whole time. I would like it way more.
Yeah, if they had a banter that was like back and forth, it was like, okay, that's a cute one. Maybe enemies and lovers, not really. But just straight up like fighting each other, fist fighting? No, I can't do
Okay,
that.
I got a weird
Yeah.
example, right? Team Rocket and Ash. How do you feel about their dynamic? Imagining it
wild.
was like your preferred gender choice, of
That
course.
is a wild example. Oh my god.
They're like low key enemies, but they like vibe together sometimes, right?
They do kind of stalk the shit out of him if you think about it, like in the
Oh yeah,
show.
for sure.
Um, yeah, I feel like that one's more playful. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they don't actually want to kill him. They just kind of want to. They're just like basically trolling him the
But
whole show.
does Team Rocket hate Ash? Are they like, I want this kid fucking done?
I think when push comes to shove in the show, they usually will side with him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So I
They're
would
not like
say,
straight up like beating him into the floor or anything. Like that's
yeah. Even when like, I remember they'll shoot.
Y'all hearing
I know.
this? Oh no, is it me? Am I the weird one? Okay, so it turns out I was the weird one. If you're listening to my audio right now, I am not connected to the Discord server. Don't know what's going on. Been having problems all day. Dude, I recorded a podcast before this with my brother, and that went by fine. And that was like a 40-minute recording. I guess like this one's. Oh, I straight up don't have internet. Yo, that's kind of nuts. Well, you have my Audacity, Supreme. If you're watching this, don't be too freaked out. Feel free to just cut my audio if need be.
Did his microphone die?
Oh, Hello?
Did I die?
Probably.
Hello?
Uh,
Hello?
Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
I think we lost you for a second there.
You did. I was talking. Damn
I was scared. I thought I died because I said something and there was nothing else. There was no response, and I was like, "Oh no,
it,
is my
Fallen.
internet toast?"
You need to back him up on these things. What are you doing?
I mean, I don't even know like what to talk about because y'all guys are talking
Enemies to
about stuff that I've
lovers.
never
What do
watched.
you mean?
Because you're talking about Pokemon, all this kind of stupid shit, and I don't even watch that shit.
Bro, watch Pokemon and then read some enemies to
No.
lovers and then get
Yes,
back to
sir.
us. Come on.
Rights of enemies and lovers.
Write some enemies to
Never.
lovers and then get
Be
back
the
here.
chaos.
I will write it, but I will not watch it. Okay. That's the thing.
Alright, write it for Kotoumi. I want you to, Fallen.
I can't wait. How would you do
I'm
that?
definitely not right for Kotumi, I guess. Can't
That
see
is
them
way
as
too chaotic.
yeah.
Bro, you can write anything, any ship. I've written friends to lovers and enemies to lovers for Yoriko.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want. Put your
Yo,
mind
that
to it.
pirate fic, that was enemies to lovers.
Okay,
that was
so
sick.
before
Thank you.
we like close this out, this topic, what makes friends to lovers good?
What makes
I
it
just-
good?
The initial like fluff of it, like just the fact they're mutually pining with one another. There's no extra person. It's like they
Are
love
they
each
mutually
other.
pining though? I feel like normally it's a one-sided ordeal. No.
No, friends to lovers a lot of times is mutual
Well,
pining.
okay, not in
Yeah.
fan fiction. I'll admit, not in fan fiction.
In
guess it
shows, it
depends.
usually. I guess it depends. Like, if it's a slow build, it usually starts with one, and then the other
Yeah.
kind of starts to come
That's
around.
true for sure.
But at one
Uh,
point, it's a mutual pining.
Yeah, at some point it gets to the mutual pining. I feel like.
That's when it's like real good. Like I lost my train of thought, but good.
Good, me like.
yeah,
The Kabadon appeared in your head and you turned into Rico for a second. You're like,
yeah, like whoa.
It's kind of like fuck. I lost my train of thought too. It's almost like you if it's an angsty one, it kind of starts on the one side and builds up, and then it will kind of turn into a tragedy at the J curve where the other person said they don't like them back or whatever. But if it's an actual like friends to lovers thing, it usually meets in the middle and both of them end up together. And
It's just
I
like no problems. That's what I love.
exactly, it's conflict, but at the base, like the lowest form, where you're like the only conflict is that they're not together, and the resolution is they are together at the end.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
when you say it like that,
I'm a
it sounds
sucker
kind
for
of
that
boring,
shit.
though, doesn't it?
always.
I think that's what makes it good, and I feel like there's not a lot of other media that really gets that.
You don't think there's a lot of media that's like, oh, the big problem is that they're not together yet?
Yeah, like I don't. Maybe I just don't watch the right stuff, but I feel like I don't see a lot of mainstream things where it's pure fluff all the way through.
So we're
then
just talking about like romance in general, right? Because I'm thinking
Yeah.
about Kaguya. I'm thinking about like, actually I don't know, Fault in Our Stars.
Kaguya
kinda.
is not bad. That's a good example of that. Although I wouldn't really call. Yeah, no, I guess they are friends to lovers. I was gonna say they're kind of enemies, but not really.
Yeah,
They're
it's
more
like it's almost a
rivals.
Team Rocket dynamic, isn't it? Where they're clearly like fucking with each other a little bit.
Yeah, they're rivals in like the most basic
They're
sense.
like,
where-
I'm gonna foil your plan. I'm gonna avoid your
Mhm.
plan.
but they
you'll
are
never
both
catch me.
clearly into each other or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Okay, how about this? What is the best dynamic between friends to lovers versus enemies to lovers? Because I feel like enemies to lovers, you're kind of forced into this like. Actually, they're both dynamics, aren't they?
Kinda. I don't know what you mean by that.
So like when I was saying dynamic, I mean like, I don't know how you would describe it. Like angry x angry, I guess. Like calm x calm, that sort of thing.
Oh, like personalities?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of get what you mean.
Ship
like I kn-
dynamics meme.
Like I know
Or-
my favorite, but I don't know a general one that's used in like friends to lovers and enemies to lovers.
Chaotic with a
Yeah.
soft spot, normal but also a chaos enabler. Best friends. Bold optimist, reclusive pessimist.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I like the one where like one is calm and the other one's like really outgoing. That always hits so good.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
That's the Yoriko one.
Yeah, all
No,
the
no, no, no,
way.
no, no, no.
Yepers.
Johan.
Who?
Johan.
He's
The
talking about
Yoshiko
Gmod.
Yo dynamic.
Oh, like
Patented.
the
Oh, that one.
jockey type and the nerdy type.
Yeah,
Kinda.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
And
That
like
one.
I would also classify Yo as like the outgoing one and Yoshiko as the introverted one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my Yoriko 2.0. When I run out of content, I go to them.
Yeah,
God,
I think
I wanna
another
rate
good
them
one
again.
is the I really like the like I'm like this person's a dumbass, but the other person kind of just puts up with him being a dumbass. I feel
Yeah.
like
Ah,
that could be like Chica X anyone, honestly.
yes, but also like sometimes it really like grinds my gears a little bit.
When they're
Yeah,
both dumb.
Sorta.
No,
I feel like
'cause,
it can
like-
get kind of slapstick in
Well,
ones that are like
it
that.
gets to a point sometimes where it's like, why do you give a shit about this person? You should have ditched them like years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm.
Like in the story I linked Lid, right? There's the initial two friends. One of them is clearly like a massive piece of shit, to be blunt about it. And also she's not very smart. So it's like, and like the dude is like, oh, I always have to clean up after her messes. And it's like, dude, no you don't. Fuck her. Like,
Oh, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't get those either.
I'll confess that it's like, you know, not necessarily the most realistic dynamic. Sometimes, you know, even if you're not, you know, you know, sometimes you just have to be the responsible one of the party to make sure everyone gets out okay.
Yeah, or like alternatively, if it's like your roommate, you can't just kick your roommate out if they're a slob. You kind of need their financial support,
Yeah, yeah.
that type of thing.
Morals can be compromised sometimes, but ideally not.
Exactly. All right, we're approaching 50 minutes. If we're gonna get in our third topic, we should probably start it now.
No.
Third topic.
Do you
All right,
think
it's been decided.
so? We had this one written down from 150 years ago, as like an emergency question, almost like break glass to if we're out of topics.
Yeah, but then we were pulling them back up off of our list today, and we saw this one, and we're like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. We could probably talk about that for a good amount of time.
Do you think it is strange for celebrities to be inspirations for fics? What are your thoughts on real person fiction? So I guess firstly, the thing you have to define is like, are we talking about like YouTubers? Are we talking about like actors? Where is it like a K-pop thing?
Do
I'm thinking
VTubers
like-
count?
I think everybody, like, if you are a real person, it counts for you. I wouldn't count VTubers because they put on this like persona.
No,
I'd count,
I would
like,
also separate
actors.
VTubers.
Like
Mhm.
actors, not their characters they played, like that real actors, the singers, like just people in real life that don't play anything.
I guess like the one that would hit closest to home for us would be like people who write fanfics of the Seiyus, right?
Yeah, like that one. You see them around. People ship them. Like a lot of people ship.
The
a lot of them.
Seiyus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I'm kind of all right with Seiyu stuff. I think, but like,
I'm okay with it if it's like safe for work. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's my overall opinion on it. If like for any fandom, honestly, I feel like if it's safe for work, it's pretty harmless. But when it gets NSFW, you're kind of just like, this is a little bit weird. Not like
it's a little
super
cringe
but
when you.
it's a little
do-
cringe. Yeah.
But then again, like, isn't all of fan fiction a little cringe? Are you
Yeah.
really making like
Yeah.
a big differentiation there?
Yeah, you're not
do
wrong.
we have any right to judge? Like,
Well, of course we do, but that's
It's one
not
of those.
the point.
It's one of those moments where you like look down at your hands and you're like, "What am I fighting for?"
No, but like I think definitely like the biggest factor is like sort of the consequences of like how the person in question feels, right? Like
Yeah,
if it,
I've seen celebrities be like, they'll say it in interviews, like, yeah, I find it very uncomfortable, but like people will still keep writing about them.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
I think like that is the situation where like it most comes into question, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and like if that happens and like you see somebody writing
Because like
fan fiction
especially
about
for
them, you tell
celebrities,
them to
right?
stop.
yeah.
I
It
feel like
kind
it's
of
wrong
reminds
with
me
them.
of like stan culture in a way. Like I'm sure
Mm,
people see like, people building shrines and whatever to like Robert Pattinson in their bedroom. And I always wonder like if they think that's creepy. It's kind of in the same vein as that.
yeah, for sure, right? Like I mean, as a public figure, I assume that most of these people kind of accept that they're going to get a lot of creepy attention because it just kind of comes with the job, right?
Hmm.
It's like people will say sometimes like, "Oh yeah, well, someone told you to kill yourself, but you are on the internet. You should have expected it, right?" In that sort of like, you know, these are the consequences. You have to live with it kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
there,
kind of fucked up, but yeah, I get you.
I agree with you that like fiction can sometimes like really cross a line, and I think a part of it is like maybe I'm like thinking about this too much now because like part of me is like trying to justify that like I don't like real person fiction, but I'm not coming up with very good reasons for why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's there. Not gonna judge it, but it's
Yeah,
like I'm still curious. Like, do the actors ever read it? Have they ever read it?
I'm
What
sure
they
they
think about
have,
reading it?
right?
yeah, they
If not
must
just
have.
like
They
out
must
of a
at least know
morbid
it exists.
curiosity.
But like
Yeah.
I feel like I would find that strange because one time I was reading a story and it had my name in it and I couldn't finish it. Like it was just really awkward.
Oh, like a character was
Was
just
was it
named
like
your
an
name?
Yeah.
ex-reader thing or?
No, it was like uh oh God, I think she was like a supporting character.
Hmm.
But it was like so weird. I couldn't continue it. So I kind of wonder like do they feel that same way but they know it's them?
Wait? So like it wasn't about you though, right?
No, like it was just a random character. They're like
So
supporting in
you
it.
you actually like had so much like narrative, like
Yeah, like they
confusion
were
that like
talking. It was weird.
that's kind of interesting. I would have thought that like if someone had my real name in there, I probably would have just like separated that. No.
Yeah, I kind of get that though, because I mean, you would at that point every time you saw your name, you'd be like,
Hmm.
"Ugh, that's not."
I
Is that
guess
me? Okay, that's not me.
I guess like your name is also really common soup, so it's got
Yeah,
to be
it
like
is.
mine is
Like,
like nowhere.
I've definitely watched shows before where I see like the character is my name, and I kind of just roll my eyes because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be watching this show, and it's gonna be on in the background, and they're gonna say
Do
my
you ever
name, and
look
I'm gonna
for
like
it? Are you
double
ever
look.
like Are you ever like watching a show or like watching the Olympics and you're like, is there any Stevens in here? Oh shit, why'd I
Uh,
say it? Oh fuck.
Oh
that's
no,
fine.
exposed.
The power of editing can cut that out. You're good.
Okay, someone make a note.
No, don't worry. I scrub through the podcast all the time. I'll edit it out. But what? Yeah, no, it's kind of weird, right? Like, I sort of get it in a way, but I don't know if I would be able to finish stuff with my name in it either. Like, I think that'd just be kind of weird. You'd always double take every time you read it, right? Especially if it was NSFW.
Yeah, I would never be able to finish that.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine how uncomfortable that would be for sure.
And that's kind of the vibe. Like, I imagine they don't really care because fan fiction is such kind of like an underground like fandom thing. But some of those fan fictions for real people get like huge hits, like, huge hits.
Mm.
Yeah, true that.
So what
So
you're saying
like,
is you're jealous of them. I see. I see.
I'm not saying that at all. No comment. I'm
So
gonna start
like,
writing
okay,
BTS now, you guys. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go.
we already said that like VTubers are totally fine, right?
Yeah,
Would
they're
you
like
be okay with like? Would you say there's like a separation between K-pop and like actors, or are they just like all the same to you?
they're the same. Like K-pop, they're just like normal people, just like actors.
I think it would be. It's different because I guess it would be. Are you writing the character that the actor played, or are you writing the actor? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like if I'm writing like Jim Carrey x Hugh Jackman,
I mean,
am I
like,
writing?
okay, maybe
That
actors is a
sounds so
bad
weird, man.
example, but I mean, like,
That is
like the
crack
real
as hell, right?
person.
That's fucked up, man.
I know.
Go write it.
No, but I mean, like, the real person. Like, because in my head, like, I think I would classify actors as, like, at the same level of status as being a K-pop idol would be, right? At least culturally.
Yeah,
But they feel very different in my head.
I would
yeah.
agree. I feel like, well, no, because I feel like they're both real people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like K-pop, not. This isn't any like anything negative for K-pop. I feel like K-pop can
Oh.
be a lot more fan servicey, right?
Oh, you're so right. I watch so much.
And I'm not saying that to be mean to K-pop. I'm not, or even necessarily saying that's like a bad thing. I'm just saying that as like a, I think the community is a little bit different, and maybe they're looking for different things.
Hmm, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely does have like a different vibe, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're still kind of classified in the same thing.
If someone came up to you and they said, "Hi, I write such and such thing," and you weren't sure what it was, so you looked it up and you found out, oh, it's real person fiction. What would your reaction be? How would you think of that person?
I'd probably have a similar reaction to like if someone told me they wrote like some really fucked up fetish or something. I'd be like, shrug, you do you, fam.
Like,
Like I don't
oh,
think I
that's a
would
little
viscerally
weird.
react
You're a
with
little
them
weird one, and then
or
just like
anything.
move on.
Yeah, well, not even that. Like I don't even think I'd judge them that hardly. I'd just be like, yeah, you do you, man, and then just kind of move on or like say good for you, and then that's it. I don't think it would be that criminal. I don't think I'd think less of them as a person. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's about equivalent as somebody saying they don't write something that I ship. It's like, okay, that's cool. I won't read it, but that's cool.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
All right, that's about, that's about everything we
Sick.
can talk about. Huh?
Eh.
Yeah, I don't know. And like with the VTubers thing, right? Like I feel like a VTuber is clearly playing a character. There's
Oh,
an animated
I
profile.
I would argue that like VTubers encourage it. Like
Oh, totally.
they seem
Like
to like
drawing hentai of their
love
character.
that kind of attention
Yeah, absolutely. But
of
and
the
that's kind of
horny
where I would
teenage boys.
differentiate. Like BTS, they are their that's them. That's their face.
Hmm.
So if you're writing for BTS, they might be playing a character in their songs or whatever, their music, but that's still them. Whereas
Yeah.
VTubers, it's like that's their animated profile picture. That might be how they act in real life, but they're still behind an avatar, so I feel like it's like more okay
Yeah,
that
but
way
I feel
almost.
like, if it's something like BTS, they can probably put out a statement that's like, hey, don't do this. Like, they're big
Yeah,
enough
maybe.
that they could, like, stop it if they really wanted to. Or maybe
Dude, that would
maybe
be
they're not,
fucking
maybe they
wild.
want to, and, like, the studio's like, nah, 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 keep it going, keep it going.
Maybe they like it.
Okay,
Maybe they're
I
into
feel
it.
like I feel like they wouldn't be into it, but I definitely feel like they would keep it going for the fact that like imagine they told like
Are you talking about the band
loved
or the
ones.
studio?
I'm talking about like not the people, I'm talking about their company.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
no, yeah, the people would think it's like really weird, but at the end of the day, these people who are like writing these stories about them, like they're like pretty much keeping their like image like alive. Strangely,
Mm.
but it's keeping them alive.
Mm-hmm.
Negative attention is good attention. This
No
Yeah,
such
time.
thing
and
as bad publicity.
yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And when they make these movies, they're like, "Oh, I wrote it based off of so and so." They get attention back towards them.
Yep,
It's
Yeah,
like
I
exactly.
agree.
it all works out weirdly, but it works out.
Yeah, it's kind of that same like self-fulfilling. I watched a video on this the other day. I'll have to see if I can find it for the links. It was like it's a self-fulfilling fandom prophecy. It was a video on Undertale actually, and it was eventually this small little game called Undertale. It didn't have a lot of content for it, so people started making their own content for it.
Mm.
And when people started making their own content for it,
That's how all these
then
ships start out, don't they? Repairs and things.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And people started making their own content for it, and then enough people started making their own content for that side content that they wanted more content of that side content, and so it just kind of spiraled and spiraled and spiraled until there was this
You know
whole
what the next step of
fandom.
that is, though? It's creators, writing their shows with that sort of content in mind, right? Almost like like Love Live is a show that we often talk about Yuri baiting, where like
Oh, totally.
girls will totally like hold hands.
Especially in the newer series as well.
Actually, Lid, do they like ever Yuri bait in K-pop? I feel like they would. No.
I've seen a lot. Like they definitely
Do they
but
ever
it's
like
kinda,
push?
at the same. It's weird because like at the same time, I can't say it's Euro baiting because like a lot of girls are very friendly with each other.
Mm.
It's like
Hmm.
it's
They work
so
together hand in hand.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
sometimes girls are just like naturally friends.
yeah. So it's like some people see it as Euro baiting when you go online, but like personally, I will see it just like oh they're just like best friends. Like
Okay.
it's
So, anyways,
it's
going back to Love Live, Supreme, you were saying
What? What was I saying?
something about the new series.
Oh, I was just saying, like, yeah, I feel like the newer shows more like ever since Nijigasaki came out, they got more like in touch with their fan base and stuff like that. They've definitely Yuri bait much harder, and like they kind of put ships in the show and focus on them much harder now.
Did Niji have a lot of that?
yes,
Yes.
like no plot, all Yuri. That's all I saw.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not even wrong.
Don't let Plaz hear you. He'll murder you again.
Yeah.
Talking shit
Right.
about how
That's
you
why Plaz
move.
likes it, dude.
Honestly.
Plaz was one of the RPF shippers the whole time.
Oh my god. We're gonna find out Plaz is like underground writing like fan fictions for the Harry Potter actors themselves.
Nah, dude. Bet he's writing Suawa and Reader.
My
Alright.
god.
Exposed.
Yeah, that's wild. Plaz can't listen to this podcast anymore. He's gonna kill us.
We'll
He'll
post
be like,
it
"How dare
everywhere
you put my
except
name in that?"
anywhere he's at, and he'll be very confused.
Mm-hmm. Well, is that the end? Are we done now?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to officially make this a beach episode somehow? At the end here.
Who is the hottest girl in a swimsuit?
Kanan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mm,
I gotta agree with that. I think. For me.
Dude, I don't know, man. Have you seen that official artwork of Daya with that red bathing suit?
Oh.
Yay!
That
let's
shit is
go.
fire.
You got me there. But at the
Yeah.
same time, when Kanan's like in her official card, when she's like ripping off her wetsuit and her bathing suit's underneath it, that's a good challenger.
Yeah, that's
I
literally
feel
like a
like-
magazine cover right there.
And that's a figurine too.
I literally
How do
own
you
that
guys
figurine.
feel about Karen?
As a
Asaka Karen.
character?
No,
Or
no,
as in a
as a
swimsuit?
model. Like, is she hot?
I feel like when they play off that they're hot, it makes them not hot.
That's so accurate. I love it. You can't tell me that the character's hot. I want to believe they're hot on my own.
Yeah, like nobody was saying Kanan's hot. She wasn't playing that up, but she's just naturally
Yeah,
hot.
you just
I
watched her in
feel
episode
like-
3 like tear her wetsuit open, and you're like, oh my.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Daya said she's hot.
Is that true?
Oh, she did. And like later on,
She was like,
later.
"Ah, no one can resist that figure."
Oh, yep, you are correct. She
But
did say that.
episode 10
But
of season
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was later though. Like Ken and she like opened in with like I'm a model. Like
It's
everybody looks at me.
yeah, like
yeah, she was
her-
very
her
clearly meant to
character
be
trait-
an RRR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her character trait, like at the beginning of the show, was like, hey, everybody, I'm the hot one," and everybody's like, "Yes, I agree."
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, by episode 10, when Daya's like, "Yes, Conan, your looks are great," and it like pans up her body, all of the audience is already nodding along, being like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm."
Yeah.
We've
Damn.
seen that
knew.
already.
Damn, I guess I'm the only one here. I drank the Kool-Aid real early. I was always all for her.
You're too simple, Dias. You see hot girl and you're like, "Booba, yes."
Yes.
You got to be more complicated.
That's why I got
Yeah.
into D4DJ. Every character has Big Boob on that show.
What?
Uh,
What is this, fucking Azur Lane?
Hey, Azorin, hey.
That game's
You
awesome.
wouldn't believe how much I spent on the game
We
for
mentioned
skins.
D4DJ and Azure
Actually.
Lane, and Fallen's back in it.
Yeah, I spent on. I wouldn't say I spent a lot. I spent on skins, but yeah, I don't think you want to know the
Do you
amount.
think if we
It's
talk
always on
about
skins. Fuck.
Zombieland Saga, Plaz will come back?
Oh, probably. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe we'll get Plazor back by just
What
talking
what
about
are the
Zombieland.
Zombieland ships?
Lid?
Junko and I. That one's my favorite.
You know, I'm not surprised at all.
Really? Oh my god, I'm too predictable.
I think I's the cutest one in the show, though. To be fair,
She
so I'm down.
is. Ah, so cute.
Yep, that's now.
Alright,
Now
we're
Plazor
done.
will have to listen to this all the way to the end.
Yeah,
'Cause we
no,
mentioned Zombieland Saga.
we dragged it out successfully, probably over an hour mark.
Oh yeah, we're at an hour 8. I see.
Assuming we don't cut out the technical issues.
No, I'm leaving that in. All that shit's hilarious.
Alright, sick. Thanks for
Nice.
listening, y'all.
Cut nothing.
Beach episode
this was
is
fun.
out.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Leave.